Hi there. As you know, there's lots of UFOs being information being released by Pentagon and what have you, and there's all sorts of happening around the world. As we all know, don't we? We had COVID a few years ago, and a lot of technology, but all sort of coming out. But I'm just gonna got me thinking, 'cause why is it all coming out? And so I thought, if you've not come across this, you might like it. Quite interesting because I just think this UFO, even though I'm a big UFO fan, I've been a big UFO fan since I probably they were born. To be honest, I've seen all sorts of things. I've been involved in lots of things. I know they're there, but why the government's telling us now sets alarm bells off. I mean, it's like you often see on YouTube some famous people saying, "I've done this," and it's got a big American flag on, and well, it doesn't really work like that. What I've seen at organisations is that one person will not be allowed to work with another person. They don't share information. They don't want anybody to know, pass things on. And they certainly wouldn't know any given names. So it sets alarm bells off when I see all these different stories on the YouTube and blah, blah, blah. I've got this certain chemical and I've got this. And no, but sometimes, occasionally, like the ones what's been shot and they've made videos of themselves, and they do generally sort of don't know anybody. I think, well, they seem all right, but they end up getting shot, don't they? But anyway, but this bit where it's all coming out and the government's letting us know this and that. And it's all the pictures are a bit crap, aren't they? Let's be honest, they're all a bit black and white. I probably could have took something better 40 years ago. So it sets alarm bells. So I thought I'd let you know about this. It's a guy called Shinya Kamanoka or something. I wish I could remember names. I should write things down. Japanese chap, a biologist. Probably one of the most important things what's happening now. And I think this is what they're covering up. So I thought I'd bring it on here. This guy in 2012 got a Peace Prize. I don't think it was Nobel Peace Prize, but it got a Peace Prize. And what he understood is that aging process, whether it's when you see, I'm not a doctor, so I have no ideas how it works. I wouldn't pretend to. I have no ideas about biology. It's all magic to me. Physics, I can understand, but not biology. But I understand that we can see my ugly face getting old and my grey hair and hairs falling out. But it's that it actually get that our DNA is altering. I do understand that bit. But this clever chap, Yananaka Shinya, it's 2012 he did it anyway. But what he understood, there's four proteins or can actually alter it, but actually reduce it and go back, make it young again. So, if I've got grey hair, you can alter the DNA because that's what's altering back to when I was young or whatever age. And so I look, and you can do that with everything part of our body, whether it's an ear, an eye, his mouth, lips, anything, saggy belly, the lot. So you can see the importance of it. Basically, we won't age. And that's the thing what I think they're hiding from us, because this guy, he didn't, this experiment, this work on it didn't just stop in 2012. Recently, I came across biologists in different organisations what's actually took it further, and they worked on mice and monkeys and different animals, and they've noticed the wrinkles are decayed. They're making them young. So, but now I know for a fact that certain countries they're doing human experiments on it as well. So if they're letting us know this now, how far down the street are they? Because let's be honest, if how many billionaires what's had they sort of save the brain or the heads, whatever it is, and froze it somewhere. And they've done all sorts of chemical freezing and all sorts of things, and they paid probably X amounts of money for it. Now, if these billionaires are willing to do that to themselves, so they're certainly going to pay X amounts of money to have these 4 proteins to alter the DNA and change it. In which case, it'd be for the rich. Obviously, we're not going to let like me and you have it, are they? And there lies the problem. When this information comes out, they don't want us to know, and this is the biggest information I can see. For me, even though I'm a big UFO fan, propulsion system and energy, they've been revolving energy systems for 100 years, but nobody seems to care. Look at old Nikola Tesla. He died alone in hotel, and he came up with an energy system what can give us all free energy. I mean, and since then there's been several more. I mean, I can think quite a few what could work, but it's all revolved. They make too much money on oil, medication from the oil, and blah blah blah. Somebody's feeding somebody's back pocket, and illness is a big thing as well, not just medication for they make a lot of money from people being ill. But anyway, let's not go into that. But going back to this bit, this should be the most important breakthrough. It should be everywhere. I know I was thinking this in about 2012. I thought, well, how come it's not everywhere? Then I realised again about a chap I came across some years ago who actually made the device what could basically not cure cancer, but find out if you've got cancer and take a tablet in the first week, before it gets worse. And this mechanism he made. If you want more information, I'll gladly send it. But it just got basically, I won't say reviled, but it just got swamped. NHS and Cambridge universities and the government just said, "Oh, okay, we'll research for the next 50 years," even though he made it. But anyway, and that's what we see. It interrupts the resources making money. I know it's cynical, but people care about making money. Certain people care more about making money than life. Life doesn't mean nothing to them. They're so greedy and up their arses. It's incredible. And these are the same people I either got money who knows about this DNA, and nobody can tell me that they ain't going to be injecting themselves on it as we speak now. So as we all aging and whatever, and these billionaires, the Gateses of the world and the Rothschilds, no doubt they're in a lab getting injected. So in next 50 years or so, when they're all walking around, we won't really know because they look totally different and young. Peculiar world, isn't it? But I think that's what they're hiding. When they release UFO files, even though they're there, we know little green men, if you like, walking around us, but they also know it's probably no big deal. But the big thing is what affects them. They care what affects them, the people, what's making the money, and it's the aging. You can imagine, you've got everything in the entire world, several yachts, several islands, but you're still going to pass away at 90 to 100, no matter what we did to do. But this thing stops them from passing away. Now I'm thinking, why isn't this everywhere? How come this is not in every single newspaper since 2012? The labs are working on people aging. We can live forever. We're not, are we? We're not hearing about it, but they are doing it. Yet suddenly they're telling us about UFOs and coming out on crappy old black and white pictures, and not telling about the information what we've old. Or there's somebody on YouTube saying, "Oh, I've come across a little green fella or something." I said, "Well, I didn't say that before, Or I've worked on something over and it's got a big flag on, or it's got a certain chemical which I can't really explain how it works." I think, it didn't work on it very well then, did they? I mean, it's a lot of garbage, but all I can tell you, UFOs exist, they're all out there, but and the extraterrestrials are amongst us. But for me, particularly, what they're hiding, and we're all letting these this garbage out, because this garbage is this. It's going to be for the select few aging process. Because let's be honest, I forgot to be honest, if I was a billion trillionaires, whatever they are, and they are, let's admit, a lot of trillionaires, they make trillions and trillions out of oil quarterly. It makes billionaires look silly. These people, they're going to be lying in the lab now, injecting themselves, aren't they? They're not going to be there, and they want something to cover up, because eventually, when we've all gone, and somebody says, "Oh, aren't you so and so?" Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I've been having the injections for the last 200 years. Let's see, so that's basically it. Yakimanaka, something like that. I wish I could remember. I'd love to meet the chap. I think he's about 63. I don't know why I can remember his age and not his name. But numbers, I love numbers though. But I hope you like that. True story about this aging. He did win a Peace Prize in 2012. And for me, last few weeks I was just thinking why they're leasing all these crappy files about UFOs and videos, and I'm thinking, hold on here, there's something bigger happening, and obviously we're not going to benefit. It's nothing to do with giving us all free energy, which they can do, or cure cancer or anything like that. But no, because it's something for themselves that they want covering up. And I thought, what could that be? I realised it's the aging process. Well, I mean, you're getting old and winkly and hair's falling out. They're going to get all nice and young. Well, that pleases me, that. Yeah. But anyway, it's totally true. It really is. It's true about extraterrestrials as well. I'm going to do a lot more of these over the years. Hopefully, anyway. Don't get too bored with it. But yeah, it's a guy called Shinya Yakimanaka, Japanese fellow. Obviously incredibly clever, and obviously one of the best, probably the best way he does at it. He broke it, didn't he? Yeah, he understood there's 4 proteins. What every part of our body, fingernails, everything has these 4 proteins, and he saps the DNA, so he just overloads it. So basically, it makes it young again. Makes it sound simple, doesn't it? I'm sure it wasn't. Anyway, God bless. So if you see me next time I'm looking about 21, I wouldn't lottery and had some injections. Anyway, God bless. I hope you like that. Thank you. Bye.